This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're here at the JB Promotions press conference. Delighted to be joined once again with the Honey Badger, Eddie Treacy. Eddie, I guess obviously last year obviously you're supposed to fight in Belfast and obviously things didn't obviously work out. Obviously I don't think you'd sort of said too much of it sort of online and stuff what had happened, but for anybody that's sort of not aware of obviously what happened with you last year, can you just obviously briefly let us know what happened?
Yeah, well, couldn't get the medical pass in time. There was an issue with the brain scan one day. The guys had an issue with the brain scan, so I couldn't get it passed, which turned out to be nothing in the end. It was basically just because I got it done in a different clinic. If I had it kept in the one clinic, they would have compared the last 3 or 4 that I had and basically seen that it was nothing. Turned out to be nothing in the end. I had to go see a specialist, but because I couldn't get the specialist, it was 10 days out from the fight, so I couldn't get to see a specialist in that time frame. So I had to get pulled from the card, and then the next show after that was televised. That show was televised, and then the show after, I would have, if I had come through that fight, I would have fought for a title on that. But just couldn't get the medical pass in time, so it was just a bit of bad luck. Just another setback to add to the list, but back now, so good to be back.
And we've obviously just had the press conference there, and you obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but it sort of seems like you obviously were missing boxing. I guess it's like anything, you obviously don't want to leave it with regrets. Is it it's just a short-term thing? You'd obviously feel you're coming back, give it 12 months, see how you go, and then reassess it then? Or are you sort of said 12 months, see what I can achieve, and then that's it?
Yeah. Well, obviously, like I started my pro career in 2018. So, like, I hadn't planned on staying in this long. I should have been well done by now. But now, like I said, I had a chat with Jay and we've done a roadmap, but I take one fight at a time. But yeah, next year, I'm done. It'll be the end of the year. Regardless, hopefully try get a title at the end of it. If that comes, it comes, all the better. But even the 5 for 1, I'll be happy. But next year it'll be the end of it, because as I said in the previous interviews, boxing's a lifestyle. It's not a sport. You have to be dedicated. You have to be fully committed with your training, with everything. So it's not something that you can be in just I'll go a few days here and there. It's twice a day, 6 days a week. Your training camps are. So it's a lot of commitment, and unfortunately I can't put that commitment in all the time. So next year will be my last year, 100%.
And what have you sort of, over the last 12 months or so, probably the domestic scene's probably been thriving probably more than it ever has. Is that maybe one of the reasons you're coming back? We've obviously seen Jamie Morrissey and Kevin Cronin go at it a couple of times. Dominic and Graham's fought, Fergus and Graham's fought. There's been loads and loads of domestic fights, so that coming back. And obviously Jay's saying he wants to do domestic fights, that they can be made now.
Yeah, absolutely. See, when I was mandatory I got mandatory for the title at the end of 2019, the Celtic title. But see, there wasn't that many fights happening, there wasn't shows happening, so with that you can't, obviously the fights can't get made if the shows aren't there. So with obviously the new show, a lot of shows happening, and there's more fighters agreeing to fight each other, which is, it's a nice mix to be involved in. So I'm happy to be back, and I can't wait to get involved with all the guys,
And I'm sure obviously you'll probably be here in 4 weeks' time obviously for the show, but you're obviously going to make your JB Promotions debut in February.
Yeah.
So like obviously it gives you a bit more time, but what weight? Obviously you originally fought as super welter previously. Are you obviously going to be fighting middleweight, super middleweight? Where are you going to campaign?
Well, we'll see. Obviously because I've been out for 2 years, nearly 3, it'll be 3 years next year when I've been out since my last fight. I haven't really been training. I've just been busy with work and family, so I haven't really been able to commit fully to my training. So I did put on a lot of weight, but obviously it's coming down again now with back doing a bit of training. So wherever the fights present themselves, Steve, whatever makes most sense. Obviously middleweight would be light middle maybe again, but even super middle I'd be happy. I feel I'm well able to make super middle, well able to fight a super middle. But obviously middleweight would be the goal. Light middle maybe again, but we'll see. Wherever the fights make most sense, and I'll be involved in. So I'll be happy to fight in either one of them,
Well, listen, it's obviously great catching up with you, as always is. I sort of, when you get that bad luck and things, the last thing I want to do is to send you a message, because you want to speak about it and things like that. Obviously, you have a couple of kids now, is that right?
Yeah, so they're taking up a lot of the time as well.
So is this the reason why with the missus you're obviously going, if I'm finding an excuse back to box and I don't have to clean the house, I don't have to look after the kids? That's what it is.
She's great, so she does all the work. I just show up at night time, but I'm too busy working all the time, so she does all the work with them. But yeah, like I said, it's don't want to have any regrets at the end. I want to get stuck in, and then at least I can turn around and say, look, I can end it on my terms, and I'll be sail off into the sunset,
Yeah, no, listen, thanks very much for your time, and sure we'll catch up very soon.
Thanks for your time, Steve. Much appreciated as always.